This is a special presentation of Way 31 Sports.
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday night. Hello, Alabama, find a comfortable spot. We got high school football and it's coming out hot. Now here we are and the lights are shining bright. We've always been. Yeah, Way 31 is rocking all right.
Big Game Friday night. Max Cohan, Trevor Denton.
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday night.
It's a region battle in a non-region week. It's Austin and Florence trying to remain unbeaten in 7A Region 4 in our Big Game Friday night game of the week.
And out in Albertville, it's the other end of the standings. The Aggies and the Tigers trying to avoid falling to that dreaded 0-4 in Region 4 in our rivalry game of the week.
Hello and welcome into Big Game Friday night, everyone. Max Cohan along with my man Trevor Denton, and we have reached the midpoint in the high school football season. With tonight's slate in the books, most teams have played 5 games with just 5 games left in the regular season.
Max, we're really starting to find out who's a contender and who is a pretender tonight. Most teams were playing in non-region action, but not so fast. Not all of them were doing that. Austin and Florence were originally set to play on September 13th, but Mother Nature had other plans, like she has recently for sure.
Yeah, if you can't tell by our hair, messed
It's a
up
little
our
wet.
plans a little bit
It's getting
tonight.
a little bit better. Product going away.
The Black Bears and Falcons have met 18 times in the past. Each team has 9 wins and 9 losses, but that had to change tonight. So let's head out to historic Brawley Stadium, where Paige Meyer has our recap of the game.
It was a wet and slow start here at Brawley Stadium in Florence. After a few slick missed catches, one team had to come out on top. The undefeated Austin Black Bears ended up taking this one 20-0. Let's take a look at some of those game highlights. It was the Florence Falcons homecoming game at Brawley Stadium, and the fans didn't let the rain on their parade. The Blue starts us off with this one, but after a few runs, nothing sticks. With the ball now in the Burnt Orange's possession, QB Jason Davis has a few good drives, inching that ball forward. Austin attempts to reach for redemption with a good catch here by number 4 Channing Patton. But that ball gets turned back over to the Falcons, and after a few attempts, the score is 0-0 at the quarter. In the second, Austin tries to turn the game around with a nice catch here by number 3 Nashawn Bannister. But in the next play, Florence recovers a fumble, putting the power back in their hands. But Austin wasn't messing around as number 9 Cortavius Mason goes in for the Florence sack. Ultimately, neither team could catch a break this evening with the score at the half 0-0. We're here at Brawley Stadium right now. I'm joined with Austin head football coach Jeremy Perkins. You just won tonight, and this is now 5-0. How are you feeling right now?
A little wet, but I feel pretty good. Proud of our guys. Defensively, we played outstanding. We're really good in the kicking game too, which was a big concern going into tonight with the weather and everything. And then offensively, we got it done.
Do you think that the weather played a part in the first half being a little slow for you guys to get into it?
Well, I think it affected both teams offensively. I mean, throwing wet ball, it's windy and sloppy conditions, so you want to play it a little conservative too. I'm sure they were as well. So, no excuses though. It's a football game, and football games played in all kinds of weather. You got to find a way to get it done. Our guys did that tonight.
What do you think one of the defining factors was to pull out this win specifically tonight?
Well, the way we tackled and ran to the football defensively. Even when we missed some tackles, we had other guys there and got them down, and kept them behind the chains. And then offensively, we just kept plugging away. We made had a lot of undisciplined penalties in the first half. We got some of those corrected, and then we sustained drives in the second half.
Moving forward now, what's your next goal? I mean, is it going to be 6-0?
Well, absolutely. We're going to start all over starting tomorrow and get ready for the next one, which is Huntsville at home, and see if we can continue to get better.
And what is your main goal for this season for your team right now?
We want to win the region. We want to make a playoff run, and to do that, we got to continue to improve.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Have a good rest of your night and get dry. Well, that wraps it up here for the night at Brawley Stadium with Austin Black Bears taking this one 20-0. Reporting in Florence with coverage you can count on. Paige Meyer, Way 31 News.
I can relate to Coach Perkins. I've been trying to defog my glasses for like an hour now from all of those tough conditions out there.
It's not a problem
tonight,
I have.
Max.
I don't
have the
glasses.
20/20 like you do, but Austin feels like they've got good vision right now, right? They joined James Clemens as the only 3-0 teams in 7A Region 4, and those two squads will battle it out for the top spot in their region. That's going to be a fun race to follow.
Yeah, and speaking of the Jets, they had a big non-region game tonight hosting Spain Park in a battle of the unbeatens.
Yeah, the Jets and Jags both entered the night at 4-0 and meeting for the first time since 2016 when I graduated high school. We don't know how old Max was, but Jets up 3 entering the second half, and Chad McGee pulls a Sean Payton, goes for the onside kick out of the break. However, it's a couple yards short, and the Jaguars take over the possession. So the gamble doesn't pay off for JC. Spain Park takes advantage of the blunder. Brock Bradley rolling out, finding Ryan Brezeal for the score. Jags suddenly up 21-17. Jets looking to take flight on 3rd and 8, and Ty Doty is ready for liftoff. He outmuscles the defender for the big catch and the big gain, but the drive stalls out when Mason McClure picks off the pass. A game of momentum swings, and in the end, Spain Park gets more of them, winning 34-24 in this one.
Staying in that region, Bob Jones was another team playing out of region tonight. The Pats traveled to Gadsden City tonight for their first meeting with the Titans since 2019, but they couldn't come away with the win as they fall 40-27. And in some Thursday night action, it's the first ever meeting between the Jags and Senators. The home team taking the ball first, but then the Sens defense make a stop. Ben Battle gets to Xavier Teague, and the sack forces May Jemison to punt. Sparkman would take over, but their drive wouldn't last long. Under pressure, Senators quarterback Keaton Williams forces this one into coverage, and it ends up being a mistake as it's picked off by the Jags. So now Rico White puts Tavarian Langford under center, and the junior hits the gas, making a cut past the line, and he's nearly home free when a diving tackle puts him on the turf inside the 5. Langford would pick up the 6-pointer just 2 plays later as the Jags strike first on the toss, but that was it for them as Sparkman fought back to pick up their 3rd straight win, 31-7. Around North Alabama, the Athens Golden Eagles have been a squad to keep an eye on this year.
Yeah, Cody Gross's squad made the playoffs last year, but this year they're off to their best start since 2006, 10 years before I graduated high school, by the way, for those keeping score. And that happens to be the last year that this high school won the state championship. That year, Athens started 5-0, a feat this team had the chance to match against Hazel Green, but Fred Ferrier's Trojans showing a lot of fight tonight. Austin Barrett fits in a bullet to Xavier Miller for the score. Athens still up a lot, though. KJ Howard, a big part of that. The running back finding a hole and picking up the first down. He was turning out a lot of the yards late in this one as Athens runs away with this one over Hazel Green, 39-14. But hey, winning is hard. Just ask the guys over at Lee and Decatur. Both teams entered the night with a big fat goose egg on their win column. Zane Pointer trying to point Decatur in the right direction. He fields the high snap. Underrated play there because he's able to hand it off to Devin Haley for the score. Then a little nice RPO action here. Pointer pulls it, rolls out, and flicks a little pass to Dante Ross, who runs down the sideline for a nice little gain. Who doesn't love a little bootleg action on a Friday night? Now Decatur knocking on the door on the goal line. They run the Wild Devil with a direct snap to Trey Greenwell. Props to our shooter Nick for not falling for the fake. That's always tough to do. And shout out to Greenwell for finding the green well for a touchdown. Decatur wins 44-0, getting that first win of the John Ritter era as they win over Lee.
Hey, region wins are hard to come by, but someone was going to come up with their first tonight.
Yeah, don't touch that remote. It's the Tigers and Aggies in our rivalry game of the week right after the break.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday night. Go Raiders! Let's go! You're watching Big Game Friday night. Go Indians!
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday Night.
Welcome back into Big Game Friday night, everyone. Around North Alabama, there are certain teams that have had trouble finding the win column in recent years. Grissom is a team that hasn't won more than 3 games in a season since 2020, and Albertville hasn't won a game at all since August of 22.
Some serious droughts there, even in the midst of this rain. But tonight, they were on a collision course, meeting in a region game that could give whoever wins a big confidence boost. Always good to have the confidence. The Tigers came out on top the last 2 times these squads have met. They'd also come up with a huge interception here, putting the Aggies defense in a very tough spot. This game was kind of a mess. Later, Albertville forced a punt. It's not a great punt, but it's great in this sense. It escapes the returner and then briefly touches an Aggie. Darius Hall all over it. Eventually, Donovan Paget Jr. would punch it in for the Tigers as Grissom beats Albertville 35-21.
Feels great, seeing the seniors step it up at halftime with being behind and coming back and being able to pull a win off is a big statement. Anytime you get a 7A region win, that's a big thing. I do, we're still trying to learn how to win. And there are things that we did better this time than when we had a lead last time. So yeah, I saw some improvements.
Under Tyler Van, the Scottsboro Wildcats have been rolling. With 5 straight wins to start the season, they look to keep it going against the Central Clay County team that also entered the night 5-0. So let's head out to Trammell Stadium for a battle of the unbeatens. The Cats were knocking at the door, and quarterback Jake Jones goes full extension for the Scottsboro score, but Central had a quick response. Toss to Kevin Cherry, and he will zig and zag his way through the defense, shrugging off defenders on his trip to touchdown land. But the Volunteers quarterback also had some serious sprint speed, put on full display this time as Deshaun Gibbons plays a vanishing act and then explodes down the sideline for another long score. The Cats fought hard but put Scottsboro's winning streak to an end as they fall 35-21. Now, both Geraldine and Boaz are teams hoping to play deep into November. Tonight, they squared off for the first time in decades. The last time they got together, the Pirates won 38-6, but that was in 1970. Bulldogs quarterback John Beck Wade is only a freshman, but he's ready for the big time. He keeps it and gets in for the score. A little bit later, he's going to hand it to another rookie. That's Jordan Langford, and he runs like a senior, breaking tackles and bulldozing his way in. No JV necessary for these class of 28 studs. The Pirates trying to pillage back, though. Senior Tyler Pierce says, enough of these young guys. I'm the captain now, and that's a dime to Jay Patterson before he gets German suplex to the grass. But the Dogs still got some bite left. Number 0, Tyler Sullivan, is a hero with the long run as Geraldine wins 49-20.
The East-West Bowl normally features names like Le Carpatron Duke Marriott and Quattro Quattro, but that's not the game we were talking about tonight. Tonight was the battle for Limestone County as East and West met at Cavnar Stadium. East Limestone looking for its first win of the season, while West Limestone sitting at 3-2. The Indians' defense wasn't acting like they had no wins tonight. They invade the backfield and jump all over quarterback Brady Crawford. The ball pops loose. Spencer Williams all over it for the massive fumble recovery later in the first half. Wildcats backed up in their own end zone, and Williams again creating havoc with the sack for a safety. Have a day, number 53. After the 2-point play, Adrian Villa runs it into the Villa to put them up by multiple scores. The Indians winning 27-7 over the Wildcats. Let's check in on New Hope, a team that's only been held under 48 points one time this season, but it would actually be the Eagles airing it out tonight. Carson Walls lets it rip. Wayne Crenshaw III makes a circus catch and sends his defender to the turf as he takes off for a Douglas touchdown. That was awesome to watch. Break out the dance moves while you can. But the Eagles don't need to look to the skies to pick up points. It's time. It's a toss to Keelan Green, and you can kiss him goodbye. Nothing but green ahead for him, and no one gets a hand on him as he goes all the way. Douglas ends the night with a 48-21 win over New Hope.
One of the best games of the week was right here in Huntsville as Randolph hosted Pisgah. 2 teams riding 4-game win streaks, but only one will have 5 at the end of the night. In their previous 2 meetings, the Eagles came out on top. Raiders quarterback William Mitchell was looking to power Randolph to a victory, showing off his footwork in the sloppy weather as he takes the keeper for a very solid game. But they don't get any points on that drive, so Pisgah takes over, and Luke Gilbert is hoping to strike first as he throws this one through the raindrops. Tyler DiOrio makes a wild effort to intercept this one, and the Raiders are back in control, except they really weren't. Right after that pick, there's some trouble on the snap, and when the ball is finally recovered, it's back in Gilbert's hands as the Eagles will get another shot. So back under center, Gilbert opts to keep it this time and then zigs and zags his way through the Raider defense until he's all alone, one man to beat, and DiOrio eventually pushes him out inside the 20. A couple snaps later, we'd finally get the zeros off the scoreboard as Legion McCrary takes the handoff in for 6. Pisgah's 2-point attempt would fail, but Randolph couldn't get anything going on their possession, so it's still 6-0 when the Eagles get the ball back in the second quarter. And it's Gilbert again, and he's not going to be stopped, forcing his way in for 6. And since they didn't get the 2 the first time, they try again, and it pays off as they take a 14-0 lead. Pisgah goes home with the win tonight, 29-0. All right, well, it's time for us to take another timeout, but don't touch that remote.
Yeah, we're headed out to Mississippi to check in on Red Bay after this quick timeout.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday nights. Go Eagles!
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday Night.
We're Florence High School student section. You're watching Big Game Friday Night on 2031.
All right, how about that? The Florence student section braving the conditions to go out there. Not a ton of them.
Yeah.
But still, the effort,
Well,
you got to
they've
applaud.
got school spirit, and then after the game, I saw them fixing a couple potholes out there afterwards, so it's great.
I don't know
Dual-purpose student section. Put them into work.
I don't know if
early.
the union would approve of those potholes, Phil.
Yeah,
but you know
we
what?
can always get around it.
That's okay. But you know what? We've arrived at our favorite part of the show, the defensive play of the week.
Yeah, that's right, Max. Pretty passes are for the birds. I love hard-nosed, gritty football in the trenches, and that's exactly what we saw tonight in Limestone County. Let's go ahead and check this play out. East Limestone came into this one with not a single win to their name. Guess what? This guy, Spencer Williams, said, "I'm tired of that goose egg." First, he recovers the fumble on the sack, and then a couple plays later, this man into the backfield again. So I'm kind of cheating here. It's 2 defensive plays of the week, but these 2 were just too good to pass up. Shout out to him. Shout out to the Indians for picking up that win number 1 in style.
All right, well, let's check in on Red Bay. The Tigers off to a tough start in 2024 with 4 straight losses. Last night, they tried to change that up as they went up against Belmont in Mississippi. And it's the 59th edition of the newly named Seymour Bowl between the Tigers and Cardinals. First drive, Belmont moving, and Derek Alvarez fires towards the end zone, and he's going to be picked off. What an effort by Braden Tabbs to get the Tigers the ball back. Next possession, Aiden Pruitt fires the ball, and it's tipped, and Aiden Waddle comes up with the INT to get the Cardinals the pigskin back. Next drive, handoff to Andrew Murino, and he will find the end zone for the first score of the game. 2-point conversion is good, so they lead 8-0. Then Pruitt rolling to his right, and he's going to find Jackson Vincent, and he's going to rumble all the way down the sidelines. A big gainer that sets up a pitch and catch between Pruitt and Tabbs. This time finds the end zone, and the 2-point conversion for them, no good. So Belmont rolls on to dominate 40-14 as Red Bay falls to 0-5.
Man, some good defensive plays in that one, too. There's a lot of good history between Collinsville and Sand Rock. The teams first met in 1946. The Panthers and Wildcats were clawing at each other yet again tonight. Collinsville's defense has already shut out 2 teams this year. They hope to add another one to the tally tonight, but hey, offense pretty cool, too. I'll admit it. How about a quick 6 from Quintavious Rogers leaping over the goal line for a quick Panther touchdown. You got to celebrate with the lineman. It's protocol, but his night far from over. It's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. This time he takes the pass, and it doesn't even look like anybody wants to touch him on the sprint for 6. And if you thought that was the end of his big night, think again, because this man could not be stopped. This guy's got the nav set for the end zone. He'll get there again with ease. Collinsville wins 51-0. All right, we've got our 3rd and final timeout, but don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we've still got everyone's favorite part of the night, top lights. Stick with us.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday nights. Go Wildcats! You're watching Big Game Friday nights. Go Jets!
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday night.
Well, as is always the case on Friday nights, we've got some awesome games to look forward to tomorrow. I'm pumped, Max.
Yeah, me too. I mean, get this. Alabama and Auburn both have huge games, and you can see them both on Way 31. But of course, our SEC slate starts with Kentucky and Ole Miss at 11. But if you keep it tuned to 31, you'll catch Oklahoma's first SEC road test against the Tigers on the Plains at 2:30. And then at 6:30, arguably the game of the year, number 2 Georgia and number 4 Alabama battling it out in Tuscaloosa. You can bet if I didn't have to work, I'd be tuned in all day long. Of course, a massive thank you to everybody that helps make this show possible, from production, our EP Sarah Jones, to all the shooters on the sideline. It wouldn't be possible without them. And of course, a massive thank you to all you for tuning in and making Way 31 your home for high school football.
And to finish this week's show, we'll end things the same way we always do with our big game Friday night top lights.
Good night, everybody.
You've been watching a special presentation of Way 31 Sports.